Dear students, I am Raghavendra HM, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Tumkur. Welcome back to my video. In this video, I am going to analyze in a very lucid, simple manner the poem The Lotus Eaters by Alfred Lord Tennyson. This is for Tumkur University Optional English 4th semester students. A very short summary, an analysis, actually a critical analysis. This would be a critical analysis, so it will be very short one. So you must read the poem before you listen to this video, before you watch this video. Okay, let us begin the video. The Lotus Eaters is one of Tennyson's most famous poems. It is derived from Homer's Odyssey that depicts Odysseus or Ulysses and his men journeying to the land of the Lotus Eaters on their way home from the Trojan War. You remember, it's a very famous war that is mentioned in Homer's great epic. You remember that, Odysseus. So they were returning. Ulysses, one of the great heroes of Greece, he was a great Greek hero from Ithaca. He was a king of Ithaca. He and his soldiers, his fellow sailors, were returning from the Trojan War after destroying the Troy. The story of Helen is there in that epic. So when they were returning from the Trojan War, their ship is drifted somewhere in the sea, and they go on traveling, drifting in the sea. They come across an island called Lotus Eaters Island. So this poem is concentrating on that island, so their experience in that island. So here in Tennyson's poem, the men come to this land and fall under the spell of the beautiful land and its flowers and fruits that they eat. That is, the natives of this island used to eat a special fruit and a flower called lotus flower or lotus flower, lotus fruit and lotus flower. See, what is the theme of this poem? So you should remember there are various themes. Time is one of the most important theme in this poem, and you may say man and nature, the relationship between man and nature can be another theme. And some people, some critics, some scholars argue that the reality versus illusion is another important theme, and at the same time death is also a theme in this poem. And then even home is a very important one. So they long to return home before this juncture, before they enter this island of Lotus Eaters. But after that, they completely forget their home. So home is also an important metaphor used in this poem. So there are so many themes like time, nature, man and nature, reality versus illusion, death, home. There are so many themes in this poem. Okay, let us begin the analysis. The poem begins with Odysseus commanding his men to have courage. They will soon find a shore on which to land their ship. They do so almost immediately, and it enchants them with its otherworldly beauty. There are valleys, snowy mountains, and cliffs covered in streams. So it was a very beautiful island. They were enchanted. They were so much attracted towards that island, the nature in this island. While the men are looking at their surroundings, the lotus eaters appear and give the sailors the lotus flowers and fruits to eat. The men who eat these fruits fall under the spell of the land. They are no longer they no longer want to continue their quest homeward. See, immediately after consuming the lotus fruit and flower, they completely forget their home. The longingness to reach the home is now lost. So they no longer wish to go home. Then they would rather stay there and they never want to return home. See, this is what happens. Then the second half of the poem is made up of a choric song. A choric song, it's a chorus. Chorus sings a song, and the second part is actually a choric song. So, in which the men describe all the reasons that they want to remain on the island. They think it is not fair that they should have to labor their whole lives while no other being, no other creature is forced to do so. See, as humans, this is what they have to do. They confess that they want to relax until their death. They want to live like a leaf does and die when its time. Its own time. A leaf turns from bud to a leaf, then gets old, turns yellow, and falls down on the ground. So it doesn't worry. It need not to work. It not to labor. So they are comparing the life of a man with the life of a leaf. They are moving towards death, though a life that is nothing but tiring. They would rather die now than have to work their whole lives. See, that's their mood. The men do remember their wives and the homes, but they believe that their families would be better off without them by this point. Life has moved on, and their return would only cause more problems back home, because there is a possibility maybe so many years have passed, maybe 20 years have passed after they left their hometown Ithaca. Maybe what happens if they suddenly return after 20 years? Maybe their wives would have married somebody else, and their property would have been confiscated by the new husbands of their wives, or maybe the children now grown up and would have taken control of the whole property, everything. And suddenly if these people return, they may feel not good at all. See, this is what they say. But remember, they are giving reasons not to work hard. So they are not ready to toil. They are not ready to take the journey towards home. Simply they are searching reasons so that they may avoid returning home by traveling. So they don't want to take the risk of travel. Then they like to live, these sailors, Ulysses sailors, they like to live as they believe the gods do. They will lay in the fields of lotus as gods do in the valley of gods. See, this is and look out on human misery. So this is what they believe. Maybe one of the feature of Victorian era. During that time, the belief on God and religion was slowly decreasing because of the impact of science, and science used to propagate there is no God, there is no evidence that there is God. So, Tennyson is expressing the same mood here in this poem. So, what Ulysses men say that the gods simply look down upon human beings from heaven, and they are not worried upon what human beings are suffering. So they don't worry about human beings. So this is in a way it's a mockery of gods. And see what he says. And here the sailors, they will make no effort to intervene or help. So this is what he says. So at last, the poem concludes with the men stating once more that their wanderings are truly over. So now this is the end. They won't travel, they won't go on any more adventure, because Ulysses and his men have gone through 10 adventures in the 20 years of time after the Trojan War. So they are really tired, and they say they will settle there in the island of Lotus Eaters, and their journey ends there. They won't return to Ithaca. So this is the analysis of poem Thank you.